Hello and welcome to another episode of today's JK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Which of the following are the consequences of sea level rise? Dangerous storm surges, lateral and inland migration, impact on infrastructure, threat to inland life. So we have to select the correct answer using the codes given below. Many of you have answered it correctly. The correct answer to this question is option D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All are a consequence of sea level rise. So let's move on to the explanation. Recently, a study has projected that sea level will rise around Lakshadweep Islands due to the impact of global warming, and sea level rise takes place by three primary factors: thermal expansion, melting glaciers, loss of Greenland and Antarctica's ice sheets, and consequences we can see as follows: coastal flooding, destruction of coastal biodiversity, dangerous storm surges, lateral and inland migration, impact on infrastructure and threat to inland life. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding Nipah virus. It is a zoonotic virus, meaning that it can spread between animals and people. Rodents are the animal reservoir for Nipah virus in nature. An infection with NIV is associated with encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain and can cause mild to severe illness and even death. So we have to select the correct answer. The first statement is correct because yes, it is a zoonotic virus. That means it can jump from an animal species to a human species, meaning that it can, yes, we have already discussed that. So yes, it's a zoonotic virus, but rodents are not the animal reservoir for it. Fruit bats or flying foxes are. So the second statement is incorrect, but the third is correct. The correct answer to this question is option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus, and the organism which causes Nipah virus encephalitis is an RNA or ribonucleic acid virus of the family Paramyxoviridae, genus Henipavirus, and is closely related to Hendra virus. And fruit bats, also called flying foxes, are the animal reservoir for NIV in nature. Symptoms are as follows: infection with NIV, it is associated with encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain, and can cause mild to severe illness and even death. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding United Nations Convention to combat desertification. It is the sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management under the UN, and it is the only convention stemming from a direct recommendation of the Rio Conference's Agenda 21. We have to select the correct statement. Now, both these statements being correct, the correct answer to this question is option C. United Nations Convention to combat desertification is the sole legally binding international agreement linking environment and development to sustainable land management under the UN, and it is the only convention stemming from a direct recommendation of the Rio Conference's Agenda 21. Focus area is as the convention addresses specifically the arid, semi-arid and dry subhumid areas known as the drylands, where some of the most vulnerable ecosystems and peoples can be found. Moving on, consider the following national parks: Nameri National Park, Raimona National Park, Dihing Patkai National Park, Dibru-Saikhowa National Park. So which of the following national parks given above are located in Assam? All of the national parks are located in Assam. So the correct answer to this question is option D. And the state government notified Dihing Patkai as a national park 4 days after creating the 422 square kilometer Raimona National Park in western Assam's Kokrajhar district. The 5 national parks that existed prior to the Raimona are Kaziranga, Manas, Nameri, Orang and Dibru-Saikhowa. The Raimona National Park is within the Bodoland territorial region. The area of the park includes the northern part of the notified Ripu Reserve Forest, which forms the westernmost buffer to the Manas National Park that straddles the Indian-Bhutan border. Moving on, consider the following statements regarding positive indigenization list. The items listed includes weapon systems that will be procured from indigenous sources as per provisions given in Defense Acquisition Procedure of 2020, and the complex systems and airborne early warnings and control systems only are not included in the list. So we have to select the correct statement. If we talk about the first statement, it is definitely correct, but second is not, because the complex systems and airborne early warning control systems are also included in the list. So the first statement is only correct. The correct answer is option A. The second positive indigenization list of 108 items was notified by the Ministry of Defense. This will further give boost to indigenization with active participation of the public and private sector. All the 108 items will now be procured from indigenous sources as per the provisions given in Defence Acquisition Procedure of 2020. Moving on, the second positive indigenization list comprises complex systems, sensors, simulators, weapons and ammunitions like helicopters, next generation corvettes, airborne early warning and control systems, tank engines, medium power radar for mountains, MRSAM weapon systems and many more such as to fulfill the requirements of Indian Armed Forces. Moving ahead, the Global Peace Index recently seen in the news is released by which of the following? It is released by Institute for Economics and Peace. The GPI was founded by Steve Kilelea, an Australian technology entrepreneur and philanthropist. It is released by Australian think tank Institute for Economics and Peace, and it ranks countries according to their level of peacefulness based on 3 thematic domains such as the level of societal safety and security, the extent of our ongoing domestic and international conflict, and the degree of militarization. Moving ahead, Mimang Sheton, recently seen in the news, refers to which of the following? It refers to a Chinese militia unit. Recently, it has been seen that China is raising new militia units called Mimang Sheton, comprising local Tibetan youth for high-altitude warfare near eastern Ladakh. It is learnt that 2 batches of the Mimang Sheton have completed training and have been deployed along various locations in the Chumbi Valley, including Yadong, which borders Sikkim and Bhutan, Shima, Rishegang, Pibithang and Phari. A 3rd batch is undergoing training at Phari, which is near Sikkim. Moving on, the dementia disease affects which part of the body? It affects the brain. So the correct answer is option B. Recently, a study has found loss in the grey matter in the brain after coronavirus infection. This loss of grey matter is in memory-related regions of brain has increased the risk of these patients of developing dementia in the longer term. Dementia is a syndrome in which there is deterioration in memory, thinking, behavior and the ability to perform everyday activities. Consider the following countries. These countries such as Serbia, Ukraine, Romania and Bulgaria are given, and you have to choose the countries which have a border with Black Sea. So Romania, Ukraine and Bulgaria share a border with Black Sea. Correct answer to this question is option B. And recently, Russia said it fired warning shots at a British Navy destroyer in the Black Sea after it violated the country's territorial waters. 6 countries border the Black Sea, including Ukraine to the north, Russia and Georgia to the east, Turkey to the south, and Bulgaria and Romania to the west. You can see Black Sea over here and its neighboring countries. Moving on, Data Lake, recently seen in the news, is related to which of the following? It is related to artificial intelligence-based platform for video recording of the national highway projects. So, the National Highways Authority of India has made use of drones mandatory for video recording of the national highway projects during different stages of development, construction and operation and maintenance, and these videos will be saved on NHAI's portal Data Lake to assess the progress made on the projects. NHAI has gone fully digital with the launch of the cloud-based and artificial intelligence-powered big data analytics platform Data Lake and project management software. Consider the following statements on corporation tax. Corporation tax is an indirect tax imposed on the net income or profit that enterprises make from their businesses, and it is levied at a specific rate according to the provisions of the IT Act of 1961. We have to select the correct statement. Corporation tax is not an indirect tax but a direct tax, so the first statement is incorrect, but the second statement is correct. The correct answer is option B. Moving on to the explanation. India's direct tax collections in the first 2.5 months, April to June of 21 to 22, stands at nearly Rs 1.86 lakh crore, which is double the collection over the same period of last year that was affected by the nationwide lockdown. It's a direct tax, the corporation tax, imposed on net income or profit that enterprises make from their businesses. It is levied at a specific rate according to the provisions of the IT Act of 1961. Let's look at the practice question for our next segment. The reef is located in the Coral Sea. It can be seen from the outer space and is the world's biggest single structure made by living organisms. This reef structure is composed of and built by billions of tiny organisms known as coral polyps. It is composed of over 2,900 individual reefs and 900 islands. It was selected as a World Heritage Site in 1981. Now, we have to identify the body using the given options. Great Barrier Reef, Red Sea Coral Reef, Lakshadweep Atolls, Andros Barrier Reef from Bahamas. So I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.